5.5 minutes after 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago. And as per usual, we have our business breakfast segment to get us underway at the start of the second hour on a Monday. And we thank Value Optical for their continued support. Well, we're going to focus this morning on an event, the annual event hosted by ICATT, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Trinidad and Tobago. It's the 13th annual International Finance and Accounting Conference. It comes up at the end of next week, November the 17th and the 18th, and it promises to bring together industry experts and thought leaders at the Hyatt Regency. The event will feature a robust agenda that focuses on the importance of trust and sustainability and the future of the profession beyond finance. Well, to give us some context to the event and indeed why you should be attending the event, we are joined by Marissa Quashie, who is an ICATT Council member and Vice Chairperson of the Members and Students Relations Department. Ms. Quashie, very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us. And before we get more into the details of the event, just so we know, is it too late to register? Can people still register for the event? And if so, what do they have to do?
Okay, no, it's not too late to register. You just have to go and log on to the ICATT website, and all the information is there on the topics, the presenters, and you will be ready and able to go log on and really connect with us on this conference.
And that website, that website, by the way, is www.icatt.org, that ICATT.org, and you will get all that information right on the home page in relation to registering for the event at the Hyatt. As we said, it's going to be on the 17th and 18th of November, so that is coming up very soon. So, talking about the event itself and the theme, what are going to be some of the key points that will be addressed over the 2 days?
Okay, so the theme this year is Beyond Finance, Driving Sustainability and Reinforcing Trust. And it allows our participants the opportunity to, first of all, reconnect. So for the last couple of years, this conference has been held virtually. This year, it's going to be held in person, which, I mean, is just fantastic for all of us to once again be in one room to reconnect. The next opportunity that our participants have is to network. So there are going to be a lot, again, as you said, industry experts, thought leaders, that just brings this wide range of experience and best practice. And we really get to connect and network with each other. And of course, last but not least, we get to learn. This conference offers 13 CPD credits. So if you don't want to come to this conference for anything else but CPD credits, you get 13.
All right. So just explain to me what these CPD credits are all about. What's the value of a CPD credit, by the way?
To be able to continue to keep abreast with everything that's going on professionally, our institute requires a certain number of CPD credits annually. And as such, you get 13, which is a huge benefit for you if you attend the conference. You're on almost halfway there to get in your annual requirements.
All right. Well, that's good. So that's a tremendous incentive to attend the event as well. And as far as the topics that we'll discuss, as you mentioned, the theme, finance, beyond finance, driving sustainability, reinforcing trust. I mean, especially given the pandemic and our economic circumstances anyway, the issue of sustainability is very much at the forefront. When you talk about issues of corruption or alleged corruption in Trinidad and Tobago, the issue of trust comes to the forefront as well. So can you tell us who are going to be some of the key speakers? Is this going to be a format of speakers, presenters, breakout sessions, networking, people be able to give their feedback and so on? Just give us a general idea.
Sure, no problem. So basically, we have two feature speakers this year. We typically have one, but we have two. So first of all, we have the Honorable Co-Member, Minister of Finance, speaking on driving public financial management. And we also have the CEO of KC Confectionery Limited speaking on building institutions for sustainable development. We also have different panels and moderators, and included in the agenda would be the ESG agenda. And on that panel, We have persons such as Tish Maraj, who is the Group Sustainability Officer of Republic Bank. We have Dax Driver, President and CEO of the Energy Chamber. And we have John Haddad, Group C, Co-Chief Executive Officer of the Hadco Group of Companies. We also have this fantastic panel that brings all the different generations together. We have the baby boomers, we have Generation X, Y, and Z, just talking about their different perspectives. I have to figure out which one I fall into, probably Generation Tanti, but I'll be there in one of those panels. We also have one called the New Global Accountant. If it's one thing the pandemic has taught us, is that how we work has changed. So we have to understand what our potential candidates are interested in. We have to be able to plan around that. So it's really great to hear the different perspectives so we could bridge that gap. We also have this fantastic group called a panel called Disruptive Innovations, Metaverse and Beyond. You know, everybody's talking about technology and how it's going to change and continue to change everything again. We have a topic for that. So we have a topic for everybody and anybody who's interested in what's happening in the finance and accounting profession these days.
And as you talk about Generation X, Y, and Z, I'm wondering what is to come after Generation Z. Because I don't know if it's going to be AAA or AA or whatever it's going to be, apart from your own concern as to whether you fall into Generation Tanti. But I mean, when we talk about accounting and accounting standards, how flexible are they to meet the requirements? I mean, you talk about the metaverse, and I was listening to a discussion just last week, and people talk about how many companies are investing billions into the metaverse kind of experience. But that is one thing. But I suppose at the end of the day, a conference like this, will it address that, you know, accounting is about the nuts and bolts of accountability? Or also, do you have to be more innovative without cooking the books, but to represent the realities of accounting and cost accounting, and whether standards have changed, whether different parameters are now being used to measure your financial status and so on? How complex is the situation right now?
Oh, it's very. You have to keep abreast. You have to keep changing, but you also have to be responsible. So the conference is about finding that balance with, you know, taking charge of all the different opportunities that are out there, but also knowing you are still responsible to stakeholders, regulators, and the public at large. So that balance that we need to find is something that is going to be explored tremendously at the conference this year.
Is that a difficult balance? Because I mean, as an accountant, or whether you're hired by a private sector or public sector and so on, the bosses sometimes have a different perspective to what the accountants have. Do those discussions come up? And like, for example, a conference like is coming up next week, Thursday and Friday. Do those issues arise that, you know, the management want me to do this, but we really can't do that. We have to do X, Y, and Z.
So surprisingly that you asked that, one of the panels that I'm responsible for is called Integrity and Accountability, the Leader's Perspective. More risk, more reward. That's what we want. We want to get that return. But at the end of the day, we have to be accountable. And I said we have to be responsible and demonstrate that integrity every day. And yes, that is the forefront. How do you manage risk with the safety net that you need for your investors and your stakeholders? And again, come to the conference, let's flesh it out, let's talk it out, let's hear from the industry experts, how are they making it happen? Let's hear from the accountants, how did they execute and what, you know, bosses want? And then let's hear from the auditors. How do you then bring everything together when you issue that opinion to ensure that, you know, regulators, stakeholders, public trust is reinforced? So again, it's a complex myriad of topics that we're going to discuss, but we need your presence there to kind of bring the different perspectives.
And this being the 13th annual edition and the first outside of the pandemic or the pandemic proper, if you want to refer to it, do you get a sense that there's a real level of energy and enthusiasm to actually have an in-person conference once again?
I think so. I think like I've been on quite a few since, you know, we've kind of opened up, and the level of interest and the vibe is there again. You know what I mean? When it was virtual, you know, you're just in your own little silo, your little room. But the energy and the interest, we are very quite surprised at how the attendance records have been showing that people really want us to come back together, to meet, to talk, to reconnect, to network, to learn together. And I think this conference, because it's in person, it's going to bring tremendous value for the attendees because of that fact.
And just so we establish the timelines, next week, Thursday and Friday, the 17th and 18th, at the Hyatt, it's going to be 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days?
Yes. Both days. And on the last day, we have a huge networking event in the afternoon with DJ Marcus Williams. To close the conference, yes, an accounting conference is going to be closed with a DJ, music, entertainment, some good time. So again, let's come together and let's enjoy each other's company with DJ Williams. Please don't go home. Please don't catch your boat. Stay back and let's network and connect again.
Well, that should be interesting. Even accountants wind down the place as well. So that should be interesting. But before we conclude, Ms. Quashie, just remind everybody again, because registration is still open. What do people have to do to register for the event?
People have to log on, as I said, www.icatt.org. And there's a link there that takes you straight to the page where you put in all your details and you register. You still have enough time. It's next week, Thursday and Friday. So the countdown is on to try to register. And, again, come spend time with us and ICATT.
And don't forget the DJ at the end, because clearly that is something
don't forget that. I'm trying not to focus on that.
Indeed.
Come and learn.
Ms. Quashie, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to be with us this morning.
And thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care. So it's the annual International Finance and Accounting Conference, November the 17th and 18th. And that is coming up next week at the Hyatt Conference Center, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on both days. And don't forget, it's worth 13 CPD units, which is almost half your requirement for a year, as was explained by Ms. Quashie. As we go to the break, let's see what we have for you now. A carrot fern, we're told. Yes, so, okay. Well, again, it's another one of those that I know the fern part of the carrot.
What's the hottest thing about ASML machines?
The laser. It is hotter than the temperature of the sun. That's pretty cool.
But I never saw those flowers before. I didn't know. I know. Is it carrot as in carrot, the vegetable, that carrot? Okay.